for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here, back from the video, and today I'm bringing you guys my full free gun split close offensive guide. So gun split close is a formation that I've always ran in Madden. I actually uploaded a video on this earlier in the year. I think it was the first week of Madden 21, but obviously a lot has changed since then. So we got an updated version, tons of great setups that you guys have probably not seen before. And overall, it's one of the best schemes in the game for blocking and passing. So before we get into the video though, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button. 75% of my viewers are not subscribed. It is the best way to show your support to the channel. And you can always unsubscribe if you want. So here we are in gun split close. Now there's an ability you're going to want. Now, I did a couple of things here with the Washington football team. I actually traded Michael Thomas to the football team. Then I changed his position to tight end. The reason for that is because you need an ability here at the tight end slot or tight end spot called Slot Apprentice. Now in the regs, Kittle is the only player that can get it. But in Ultimate Team, you can get Slot Apprentice on Jeremy Shockey, Chris Cooley, a number of guys. I believe Todd Heap. But yeah, so again, you need Slot Apprentice or Route Apprentice. Again, Michael Thomas, I traded him over. Obviously, you can't get normal receivers right here in this slot spot, which is why I had to change his position to tight end. You see, there's no way you can get receivers there. You can actually get left tackles, which is really weird. But yeah, so you can still get some really good guys. Again, Shockey, Cooley, but that's something you're going to have to do. Also, just get some good, fast wide receivers on the outside, Sims and McLaurin. As far as your running backs go, I would recommend getting a good receiving back here at the left spot and then a more of a power style of back right here with Antonio Gibson on the right. You will see why in a little bit. You don't need really any other abilities besides this Slot Apprentice on your tight end. But I also recommend getting Gunslinger. Gunslinger is obviously the best ability in the game. It's really helpful for those one-play touchdowns. I'm going to be using Core Alex Smith today, just stock. So you'll see he'll probably miss some throws and get hit. He doesn't have good throw power, but it's going to be better if you have Gunslinger. So with that being said, let's just go ahead, set our audibles really quickly. I like to have X-Drag Trail, wide receiver corners, and PA shot, as well as Power O, and that's because we're going to come out in this halfback wheel play every single time. So we got 4 passing plays, 1 running play, and yeah, we're going to start out with halfback wheel. That's by far my favorite play. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the field. Coming out on the field, you see we are on the short side like I briefly mentioned. We got, and what I mean by short side is we have our strong side of the formation, which is this side. We got 2 receivers, and that's going to be on the left hash, which is the short side. Less space on the left here than the right. And that's how we want it for some setups. Certain setups we want our tight end on the wide side. I'll tell you when to flip though. So starting out with our halfback wheel, this is my favorite play in the formation. It's really, really good. And just because of how many stock good routes you have. You have this corner route that's very good, and mostly this table route. Now, if you don't have backfield master, which again I said is not necessary to the offense, then this halfback table route is going to be super necessary. I love building plays around this route. It's really, really nice. You'll see why in a moment. So anyways, we're in halfback wheel though, and we're going to start out with our cover 3 beater. With the cover 3 beater, you guys obviously know the cover 3 beater concept. Deep post over the top of a corner route, pulls down the outside third. But this corner route doesn't work. What you have to go ahead and do is throw him on his own corner route with the Slot Apprentice ability. So we're going to put him on a corner, and then we're just going to smart route it. Now, as far as the other routes, just for the first setup, I'm just going to max protect because we want to get as much protection as we can. I'm also just going to throw X on like a dig route. Now, normally I would probably leave McKissick on his table and then just motion out, snap the ball. So also, one extra hot route you have to do is smart route B. Even though it's like only making his break a little bit shorter by a yard, I've noticed that this actually makes a big difference in the cover 3 beater. So again, you're going to try and kind of roll out to the left and throw it over the top to Sims. I'll go ahead and snap the ball here. I did a little bit of a chop block so that we got more time to throw, but look at that. Able to throw it over the top. And that time, it was a little bit tight. It has been. You've gotten a little bit more space when I've ran it offline than that. So I'll just run it again here with the setup. Pretty much what I did is I just smart routed B. I threw A on a corner route. I smart routed A to make him a little bit shorter. Those shorter corner routes are better. And then I just threw X on like an in route. Again, X is just in case we have nothing else open. You can leave McKissick on his route if you want. He's actually going to split his double team, and we're going to be stuck here. So again, you'll probably see that throughout the video. I'm going to get hit a lot, so hopefully that doesn't happen too much, because Alex Smith does not have Gunslinger. Again, I do recommend getting Gunslinger. So again, smart out B, A on the corner, smart out A. Throw X on like a drag. We're going to roll out completely here, and you see now he's going to get pulled down, and we're able to throw it over the top. Again, with Gunslinger, you have more time to throw that with, you see how the cornerback comes back down? That's when you want to throw it. With Gunslinger, you see Alex Smith has to wind up so much that it's a lot tighter than it should be, and even running this online, it's never that close. So again, keep that in mind. You do want Gunslinger, and you want to be able to get the ball out super quick. Again, he's going to get pulled down, then I can throw it deep over the top, and again, just a bad throw, but we're able to catch it. But yeah, that concept is going to work better in Ultimate Team when you have a way high throw power QB. Again, this is 71 overall. I honestly should have traded over Josh Allen or somebody, but it is what it is. You see how the concept works. So that's going to do it for our cover 3 video. Let's move on to some other setups with it. So our first setup out of the play is going to be using, again, the slot apprentice. So what we're going to do is throw A on a deep cross. So that's just going to be the D-pad up. Put him on that cross route, and you see from the tight end spot, it's always super deep. That this is very difficult to defend. Even a 20-yard zone drop is not going to defend this crossing route. Also, what we're going to do is a curl flat concept. So I'm going to throw X on a curl route. And then with the RB, I'm just going to throw him on like an option route. Now, again, depending on what your opponent's doing, I'm always going to have a route that I can potentially block. I could always block Gibson. He's not doing a whole lot for us on this play. So again, if your opponent's sending heat, if he's sending big dime off the right side, big nickel off the right side, I can always block him. But for now, we're going to throw him on an option. So here's our play art. One more thing you're going to do is you're just going to motion McLaurin out just one step here. You see against cover 3, he's going to get wide open. That's usually my first read initially, is going to be that curl flat combo. The table route, I believe, was also open, so I can honestly snap throw that. More of our late route progression, we see that the left side's not open for whatever reason. If it's man coverage, these aren't really man-beating routes. Then I'm usually looking towards the right side. We got Gibson and Thomas is going to beat a lot of coverages, which I will throw after this. So again, X on a curl, A on a cross, RB on an option, motion him out, and snap the ball. Again, here I'm just going to throw it to McLaurin, low ball possession catch. You see how much space he has, specifically against cover 3. Against cover 2, typically I'm throwing that table route. I'll show it again here. Here I'll throw my table route. Just to show you that they do both work. Look at how open that table route is. We got a terrible animation, but there's a lot of space in front of him. Here I'm going to go to my late read progression, which will be Michael Thomas. Now it is going to be a tight throw, and you kind of do want to roll out a little bit to this right side, but you see he's got a lot of space there. I do recommend lowballing there. Right there, I didn't have enough time, so I just had to get rid of the ball, but there's enough space to where I can actually get that off. If I really am getting pressured, I can always do like a chop block out of the split close, which is one of the reasons it's the best formation is it's blocking. The fact that you can block to both sides without using any motion makes it such a threat and super difficult to defend. So there you saw that crossing route. Let's move on to another setup. Now with this setup, I'm going to set it up almost like FL drive out of the strong close. So if you know that play, you got B on a post. You're going to have a backside post with this player, and then you're going to have a backside slant with a table route and a wheel. So we almost have that stock. What we're going to do is throw A on a post, X on a slant, and then RB on a manual wheel route. So you see RB's already on a wheel, but I like this wheel a little bit better, so we're just going to throw them on that. And this formation is kind of similar to strong close with the 2 running backs, and with the fact that you have tight end apprentice, so you can kind of take concepts here and there. So what we're going to do is we're obviously going to motion McLaurin over. Now we got the slant to post behind the deep post. And then we got a little table route and wheel route. Geez, I accidentally clicked the wrong button. But you see McLaurin is going to be wide open with a low ball underneath. I'll set it up again just really quickly. RB on a wheel, A on a post, and X on a slant. Motion him over. And again, a lot of these, since I know the setup so well, I can kind of get these snaps off really quickly. So here's what I was talking about with McLaurin. He's got a lot of space in between that you can kind of get open from. Also, the scheme does work on next gen if you guys are running next gen. the scheme works 100%. I've been running it online in next gen, actually. That's where I kind of started labbing it. And it obviously works on current gen, which is what we are in right now. So we threw that first read. Now we can, mix it up, throw that post over the top. I have the wheel route open immediately. So just a lot of options for you guys. I'm going to start trying to move through a little bit quicker. This video is already pretty long. So we will move on to our fourth setup out of the halfback wheel. And again, this is by far, in a way, the most used formation by myself personally. We will be going over some brief man coverage beaters at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that if that's one of your concerns. But yeah, let's move on to another setup. So what we're going to do here is we're going to throw RB on a wheel, and we're actually going to throw aged on a flat. So it's only 2 hot routes. But with this wheel route, you'll see against cover 3, it's going to get open. Now, when you motion the tight end over, he actually can go all the way over. So you kind of wait to motion snap him. Look at how open the wheel route gets. So even in the play art, it shows him going super deep, almost to the hash marks on the sideline. But he actually breaks way earlier, almost on the numbers, which will definitely help us out. So on the left side, I got a little table to in route, and then I just keep this deep post. It's almost like a clear out for me. I don't like to completely compress the sets, so that's what I do. So again, you manually throw RB on a wheel route, you just throw A on a flat, and then you motion him completely over. You can also use an out route. I like the flat a little bit better, and then you just kind of motion snap him right about there. Again, look at how open he was. Now, that was a terrible pass. I actually lowballed and pass led inside, which I'm just going to set up really quickly here. And Alex Smith is going to miss a lot of passes, so if you forget to motion or set that flat before you motion him over, just keep him on an out route, and you see it's the same concept. Now, a lot of times on these kind of wheel routes, I notice that it's almost difficult to lowball and pass lead inside, so even when I'm holding the button, it seems like Smith won't do it, so keep that in mind. But one more time, just a very quick snap type of a play. You get someone's defense set up, you make 2 hot routes, and you motion over. It's going to be difficult for him to adjust. Right here, again, you see Gibson's open. You see that in route's pretty well defended, but in Ultimate Team, there's probably not going to be too many instances where people have, 2, 3 zones in the middle of the field, so don't worry about that. But yeah, let's move on to our last and final setup. So our last setup, what we're going to go ahead and do is simply just, this is going to be another kind of quick snap play. We're just going to throw A on a corner route, and then we're going to throw, X on a flat, and I like to just put Y on an option. So this is just a base spacing concept. You don't have to smart out A. You can keep him at his distance. And then I like to just motion McLaurin out a step. You see how Thomas is going to get open. If you didn't know, a killer of cover 3 is going to be corner routes on the short side. So again, A on a corner, X on a flat, and then Y on just an option with RB. I'm not really sure what I would do with him, so I just leave him on his little wheel route. It could be open depending on what coverage. And then we keep that post route. But again, you see how pretty much every zone is pulled down because of the fact that we have 2 flat zones on that left side. So it really does expose it. With that being said, let's move on to our next play. And again, that was 5 setups for halfback wheel. All these other plays have 1 or 2 setups. And obviously with any scheme, you can pick and choose setups and you can add setups of your own, which is usually what I do. So PAY shot, you notice I'm also on the short side for this. The reason for that is the main route we're going to be targeting here is our crosser from the solo side receiver, Steven Sims. We want him traveling the least distance as possible. So if we flip it, we have him running all the way from the numbers to the sideline. Bigger chance of getting shedded, bigger chance of getting usered, sacked, whatever. So that's why I like the shorter side crosser. It makes a huge difference to me. So what you're going to do just for the first setup, just throw A on a streak and X on a slant. Now personally, when I run it to this side where my receiver's on the left, I like to keep the play action. And with Gibson, I have a right-handed QB. I can get a really nice play action animation. For whatever reason, I like it. I feel like I get good blocks. But for the first setup, A on a streak, X on a slant, motion them out, and you see, you can just hold the right trigger, cancel the play action. I noticed that I just get really nice blocks with that. Might be just a personal thing, but I also like the way it looks. It's kind of weird, but again, it's something I like to do. The next step to this play is going to be Y on an option. Now, when I throw Y on an option, I actually don't really like to throw or motion out McLaurin. I'm not sure why, but I like to just snap the ball immediately, and then I feel like X doesn't get bumped as much. I feel like I have a better chance to throw it. Sometimes when I motion X out and I have Y on an option, they kind of run into each other, so that's just my reasoning behind it. So again, X on a slant, A on a clear out, which is our streak. Y on an option, and then I like to leave the play action again. It gets that little high snap animation. Now, one thing the option does is you see it pulls down hook curls, so I can throw that crosser early. It also pulls down curl flats, which you see is happening there. Now, depending on zone drops, things like that, there's other algorithms that go into it. But just for the stock setup, it opens up the crosser so much, able to cut it upfield almost like that. So PAY shots, really, really good play. I don't really have any other setups for this, but there's obviously things you can do. One of my ideas for this play was just to throw like X on a hitch, A on a corner, and then RB on a wheel. And then what I would do is I would motion Thomas over. So again, this isn't exactly a setup that I run, but this kind of a concept I like because you got certain routes on the other side. You see the crosser still open, but also on that right side I had the wheel open. So just things like that you can always do that I'm not going to necessarily talk about. I have tons of little gimmicky setups just like this one. So maybe I throw Y on like a option and I keep X on his flat route, and then I keep A on a corner, RB on a wheel, just things like this. And I snap it early that really help out. And you see A's, well, I just threw a pick, but I should have thrown it to RB. Sometimes that corner route can get open with how many crossing routes are coming from right to left, and corner routes are coming on that left side. People will usually double flat on the left, but they won't double flat on this right side. So corner routes, sneaky things like that can get open. Moving on, we're going to go to X drag trail. Now, this is a setup where you're going to flip your play because obviously the deep post is on the two receiver side. We're going to utilize that. Now, with the setup, what you're going to do is I honestly like to block my running back first things first, and that's all you really have to do. Now, depending on max protection, what you want to do, that is just our first setup. So just block your running back. Now, there's another thing we have to do. It's going to be motion Michael Thomas over. So he's already on a post route, but when you motion him over, he doesn't flip. He just keeps his little corner out, and then we just want to snap him right about there. So again, I'm going to kind of roll out here, and look how open B is. This is a really, really good cover 3 beater. You see it's a lot more effective in my opinion than that halfback wheel one, although online I have a lot of success with halfback wheel, despite it not working as good in practice mode. But you see right there, really good. Also, I noticed with this angle route, it kind of pulls down this outside third, Okuda, I believe. So that's something that you like to keep on the field, but again, it's not necessary. If you're just trying to get the play off quickly, just motion him over and block your running back, snap the ball. Again, you kind of roll out here and you can throw it over the top. Alex Smith has an absolute noodle arm. It doesn't help that I was on the run, but I was kind of under pressure. So again, with the concept of max protection, if I'm getting hit like that when I throw or just pressured, I have to run out of the pocket, I can just keep X on his drag, max protect, get a little chop block action, and then I can motion Thomas over. So now I get better protection. You see he's going to get deep, and he comes down again. Again, with more throw power, that's a completed pass. But you notice how on that first play, because we had McKissick out on our field on that angle route, that weird angle route pulls down certain zones, and that was an example of happening. So again, you can also try to get a little chop block with RB, but I really don't have the best success with it, although right there we are able to get it. And look at how deep. So again, with that angle route, it kind of glitches out the outside third. You've seen it twice, so it is very successful in doing that. So that is our first setup. We'll move on to another setup. Now with this setup, what I like to go ahead and do is I'm just going to base flat A, or actually, never mind, you're going to flip it back. I got a little bit confused there. So this is going to be a short side X drag trail setup. So I already came out on the left side. So I can go with it. So you're going to put A on a flat. You're going to go ahead and put RB on a wheel. And then I like to just throw... All right, moving on to our next setup. What you're going to go ahead and do is... Again, we're going to be on the wide side of the field with our X-Drag trail. I don't really have setups for that weak side. You can kind of take concepts here and there, but I like X-Drag trail from the wide side. That's how I run it. So what you're going to do is throw A on a flat. You're going to throw RB on a wheel and X on a flat. So here it is. Looks kind of weird from our player, but what we're going to do is, if you didn't know, you can actually motion Thomas outright. So motion him outright. You can't motion snap him. You have to wait for him to get set. But what's going to be open is our wheel route. On this left side, personally, I just kind of like how the flat and table route or Texas route play each other. You could also maybe hitch X, but here's our setup again. if I had slot apprentice or hot route master, I would throw B on like a shorter, fatter post route or even a crosser. Give us another option. But this play, very good. You see RB is wide open. We get an inaccurate football, but you see he's open there. Now, because the computer has 2 hook curl zones, not user controlled, the middle of the field's not going to be as open. So McKissick's not really going to be too effective in this instance. I could also throw X on like a zig, just different things that would get open. So here I like to go with the zig, and then you see McKissick gets open a little bit late. So overall, I like to use that Texas route. I don't have too many setups right now for this play, but there's a lot you can do with it, especially depending on how many hot route abilities you have, whatever. So that's going to be it for X-Drag Trail. Let's hop into our last passing play. Actually, let's hop into Power O first. So Power O, it's a little bit interesting. Now with Power O, it's going to be better if you run it to the left side. So since I have a right-handed QB, it's going to be better, obviously, running it to the left-hand side. Because if you didn't know, base, inside zone, if you run it to the left side with the right-handed QB, you get a really fast handoff animation. Now, one thing is, if you don't have a good blocking back, a little bit of a bigger back, you could get shedded. So McKissick, he could get shedded a lot. My favorite way to run Power O is to motion him out a step, and then you see we get a little bit more space. Now, I believe Michael Thomas is getting shedded a lot. Again, he is a wide receiver. Normally, that would be a tight end. But, yeah, you can kind of cut it up the middle. Again, there you see McKissick getting shedded. But even with all these block sheds that are happening, 5 yards a pop, 3 yards a pop, whatever. So keep the ground game strong. I like to run it like 10 times a game with this. And obviously, usually it's better if you're on the right hash. You can run it to the left side. But again, right there, you see we kind of got a little bit of daylight there. You can stay even patient with it. So I can wait for Sheriff to pull because sometimes he's slower. If he's going to that left side right there, he went up middle, so it didn't really matter. But this Power O is really good if you don't know what I'm talking about at all with this flipped run. Let's see how slow he hands it off going to this side. You see it's a way slower handoff. And although we still do pick up decent yardage, it's just not as effective running the ball. So again, run to this side, can wait for him to pull, and now I get all my space. Now I can potentially take that to the house. So Power O is really, really good. I can kind of deceive it also with motioning Thomas over like this. We had some pass setups like that. I get one of those corners out of the way, and now I have a little bit more space, although Brandon Sheriff, again, misses his pull assignment. But, yeah, run this Power O a lot. I run it, again, I try to run it 10 times a game, although this is a pass-happy formation. Got to mix in the run in any formation to be effective. So let's hop into our last play, wide receiver corners. Again, this is going to be a short side concept. But with this one, what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to put RB on a wheel route. And then just for the base setup, what I like to go ahead and do is throw A on a slant, and you're going to block your running back over here. So you're probably wondering, that looks like a terrible play art, but what you do is you motion McLaurin over, turn him into a post. Now we got a post wheel or a post slant in a corner wheel route. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of the slant running to the same side as the corner in the wheel. So honestly, if I wanted to, I could throw A on like just an in route, have success. But again, I'm a big fan of the concept right here, especially out of split close. Although I do like it a little bit better on this left side. Short side, it doesn't make too huge of a difference. So again, here's a look at my player. I'm going to motion McLaurin over and just give us a couple of concepts. Again, you want to mix in certain plays like this, although they're not the best on paper. They can be good. Right there, you see Thomas able to get open late. I feel like the post is better with the slant, but honestly, I could also maybe hitch him. If I wanted to run it on the weak side, I could maybe throw Y on like a wheel route, A on a crosser or a post, and then maybe I put B on like a hitch, whatever. So I could run something like this as well. Again, it really does depend on what you run. Maybe I throw RB on the wheel route as well. So just concepts like this can be successful. You see right there, we're having a lot of success with that tight end crosser, and you want to mix in that tight end crosser out of other plays. But yeah, just the stock setup is A on a slant, RB on a wheel, and you can also smart out X to get him a little bit deeper or shorter if you want. So you can actually get a shorter kind of route like this, and then maybe I throw, oh shoot, I accidentally put the wrong player on a drag. But what I was saying is I could actually throw A on a drag, I could smart out X, and then I could throw RB on a wheel, block my running back, and then motion Terry over. So this kind of weird shortened post route can be successful. It's almost like a crosser, but with hook curls, it's not really going to be open. This is more of a type of a play you want to run when people are double flatting, they're stopping your corners, tables, things like that. So like I mentioned earlier, we're going to go with some man coverage beaters right here. So one of my favorite man coverage beaters is out of halfback wheel, but also that crosser beats it. All these corner outs beat man coverage. Deep posts, Texas routes, drag routes, short posts, whatever. I'm just going to show you a couple that you don't know probably. One of them is going to be with Michael Thomas. So I'm just going to max pro here. We're going to smart route A. So again, smart route him. Look how short he's going to be. Also, what you want to do is motion Sims over. Throw him on just a drag route, whatever. But look at this concept. So you're just going to do that. Look at how much separation A gets. Now, right there, he didn't get separation. In labbing this earlier, he did get separation. So it's a little bit inconsistent. He might not beat it every single rip, but usually consistently, I notice him able to beat the coverage. Let's try it again here. He's actually not beating it right now. When I labbed it earlier, he was. I'm not sure what the issue is or what's necessarily different. But usually he was beating it earlier. You can take my word for it and just bring it stock. There we go. That's the kind of separation that you can get on one of these post routes. And that was a bad pass lead. So usually you do want to lob it. Those kind of short baby corner routes. There's some out of gun bunch that a lot of people run, but you see how he kind of gets separation. I could also pass lead to the right. And because we have an inside third, it's not really going to be open too deep down the field, but you see how he can get that instant separation. As far as other ones, we all know this crosser setup. We got a slant crosser. Both are open. So again, you can use that play a lot. And also that's a max protection play. So you can definitely utilize that one. As far as just running like a stock X drag trail, you see X open, Y open, A open. Just literally every single route's open. So really man coverage isn't an issue when I run split close. Usually people are super scared to run man coverage. So that's why I didn't really talk about it a whole lot. Just look at McKissick. It's not like he's super high overall, getting really good separation. So overall, man shouldn't be too big of an issue. Just running these base concepts, you're going to kill man coverage. Just stock wide receiver corners. Look at Terry get separation. So that's going to do it for the video, though. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and peace. I'm out of here.